Ladies and gentlemen, my name is V and welcome back to the Lavender Lab, where today we are going to be taking a look at another Genesys format deck profile for the Super Quant archetype. Now, if you do not know what Genesys format is, basically it is where cards are put on a point list rather than a ban list so that your amount of copies is only limited by the amount of points you have spare, and you have 100 points in the traditional format. This is really important for a lot of decks that don't have a lot of point cost, because it means that while hand traps are pointed, their strategy is free, and so you can take advantage of those hand traps without compromising your strategy. This is especially true for Super Quants, which have actually become quite the threat in the Genesys meta over the past few months of its existence. You can see here, most of these cards are not pointed. Keyword most. As of the December 2025 ban list for the Genesys format, Super Quantum Met King Great Magnus is now worth 33 points. However, that won't do enough to stop me today, and today I'm going to be showing you my modified December 2025 Genesys format Super Quant deck profile. Let's hop into it. Now, a couple of things important about Genesys format. Droll and Lockbird is 25 points per copy, which is really expensive in a 100 point format. And so we have the ability to create our own Droll and Legs with our Magnus boss monster, where you can see if it has 6 or more materials, your opponent cannot add cards from the deck to the hand by card effects. Now, if you're wondering how to get this monster that requires 3 level 12s onto the field at all, especially with 6 or more materials, then I recommend checking out Plus Infinite's video on Super Quant combos, where he goes into a complete in-depth guide on everything to do with this deck. He also has an Nibiru protection video, which is very helpful for learning about cards like Chronomaly Vimina, which you can see down here is a monster negate, and we can actually make that using our red layers. But with that information out of the way, I'll probably put that video in the description, we can get into the ratios. We have 3 Super Quantum Fairy Alphan, 3 Super Quantum Fairy Zaytan, 3 Super Quantum Black Layer, 3 Super Quantum Blue Layer, 1 Super Quantum Green Layer. This card is our technical assistance. We can pitch any of the cards we don't want in our hand and get them to the graveyard if we draw them. 3 Super Quantum Red Layer, 3 Super Quantum White Layer, 3 Layer 19 Sudden Incursion, Super Quantum Black, 1 Spike, 1 Magna Carrier, and 1 Magnus Slayer, as well as 1 of every single mech, including Magnus, excluding Magna Liger. We are playing 2 of them. Red Layer can be used in tandem with our starters, Alphan and Zaytan, and sometimes Blue, to be able to make Chronomaly Vimina, which is a monster negate alongside our full combos. Because in Genesys format, there's only really 1 hand trap we have to worry about as a deck, and it's Nibiru. And that is very, very easily stoppable in 5 summons. Now, besides that, we can take advantage of other generic Xyz monsters, such as the Full Armored Xyz package, which, if you don't know, is a way of getting a lot of damage and a non-targeting suck with the boss monster, as well as a field wipe, a field negate, I should say, in Crystal Zero Lancer, which is a card people don't normally talk about. But in a deck that goes all in on going first like this, we like our going second options. All you have to do is play this 1 main deck brick of Full Armored Xyz, which is well worth it in a deck that already plays a few different bricks. Additionally, we're playing 3 of almost every single name because of 1 philosophy, and that philosophy is our opponent will run out of hand traps. If you look at all of these pointed hand traps, you will see that it is very, very difficult to actually create a hand trap lineup, and this deck is mostly free, and this is how few hand traps you get. So for other decks that have less options, you can take advantage of that and just plow through them with cards like Black Layer, White Layer, Red Layer for extension, and Layer 19 for extra extension, as well as Layer 19 having a nice little third effect here. And that allows you to set a Super Quant trap from your deck. And that trap in question is the Super Quantum Mech Sword Magnus Slayer. This is a little bit of a silly card, but I still enjoy it, and it is a way of OTKing. You can equip this card to a Super Quantum Mech Beast Xyz you control, or the Magnus itself, and it gains 100 attack per rank it has, and piercing on the first attack, because it has 3 attacks if you send this card to the graveyard. But those other 2 attacks are obviously with its base stats. However, with a Magnus, that's a ton of damage, and all it takes is playing it here. Of course, you can discard it with Green Layer if you don't want it in your hand. Now, those were the spicy techs. The very simple normal techs are Zeus, and a couple of ways of getting to it. Divine Arsenal AA Zeus Sky Thunder is easily summoned by having an Xyz monster battle, and with the number of Xyz monsters we are playing in our extract, you can tell that's not a difficult task. Now, the easy ways to make it without using up your Super Quant monsters are to make a rank 1 Lyrilisc Assembled Nightingale. You can actually get to this in your deck by using Alphan or Zaytan, where Alphan itself can modulate the levels of your entire field to be level 1. So you can even get a lot of damage out of Assembled Nightingale as well by using a lot of materials for it. And it can be able to protect itself by detaching a material, and that can allow you to make a 2 to 3 mat Zeus in the cheapest of circumstances, which is enough for a board wipe. Number 49 Fortune Tune is also an option for this. It allows you to battle and protect itself, and you can take advantage of it by having it just slam into something, whether attack or defense position, take a bit of damage, and then Bob's your uncle, you've got Zeus in the main phase too. Finally, I mentioned Crystal Zero already, but we have full armored Utopic Ray Lancer, which we can make using a lot of our small Xyz monsters, by just pitching a spell trap, which we have a few of which that could end up in our hand that we don't really want. However, it's just another nice OTK tool. We can negate the attack position monsters our opponent controls, they lose 500 attack, and if it attacks a monster and destroys it by battle, you can detach material and attack again. It's just another nice way for damage. I believe you can still make Zeus with it, so it's just a great way of getting extra materials. Finally, I want to talk about one card, Minamelon. Now, you probably don't know what this card is, but you may know what the card Emergency Teleport is. You might also know that Emergency Teleport is 35 points in Genesys format. Don't ask me why, there's probably some FTK reasons for it. But regardless, it's far too expensive for us to play. And as such, we are playing E-Telly at home, aka Minamelon. You can banish another card from your hand, special summon this card from your hand. You can banish one face-up level 4 or lower monster you control, special summon a monster from your deck with the same original type and attribute as the banished monster, but 1 or 2 levels lower. And Minamelon itself is a level 4 Water Psychic, meaning that you can banish itself to summon Super Quantum Blue Layer. And this is huge, and it allows you to get your combos started by just spending a card from your hand, of which these combos do not need your entire hand economy, and you don't even use your normal summon, which is an impressive feat to getting to something as strong as Magnus, which on its different effects, once per turn, quick effect during the main phase, detach a material, shuffle a card on the field into the deck, 4 or more, it's unaffected by all non-super quants, and 6 or more, your opponent cannot add cards from the deck to the hand by card effects, a la Droll and Lockbird, except even better than Droll and Lockbird. And this card is incredibly strong, even in the modern day. This card is almost a decade old, and it is still an impressive boss monster, and that is what separates Super Quant from so many other decks, is that it has the capacity to spit out something like this. And this card can genuinely shut down quite a few hands of quite a few decks. So I highly recommend checking it out. I highly recommend checking out the videos that I will leave in the pinned comment, and I will see you all on the dueling ground. Thank you all very much for watching. My name is V. Have a great day, everyone.